Take you back to one of our big developing stories this afternoon and to the scene of that fatal crash on Dendron Road just outside Polokwane. Officials confirming to us just a short while ago that 13 people have died after a minibus taxi collided with a truck. Florence Radzelani, the Transport MEC in the province, telling us that there have been no survivors. Our reporter Linda Mnisi is on scene with an update. Linda, what can you tell us?
Well, at the moment, Michelle, you can see a number of briefings taking place at the scene as the MEC as well as the Provincial Commissioner of the SAPS try to brief some of their teams as well as some of the spectators and the people that are standing around the scene. Like I indicated earlier on, Michelle, this is a long stretch of road essentially, and quite a number of vehicles, including many trucks that are stationed on the side of the road as a result, of course, of this accident. You see there, it seems some family members have just heard the news. Commissioner, I see behind you just scenes of some of, what appears to be family members breaking down at this point. Was this that briefing? Were you there to deliver those tragic news?
Yes, even though specifically, Linda, I could not point whose family for who. But it's clear these are family members who happened when they had this accident, then they rushed here. So we were deciding with the MEC that we should just give them some heads up of what will happen from now. Basically, we said they can move towards the morgue in Polokwane so that when they leave here, they can be able to be in a position to identify their loved ones. We have requested social development to assist us because you will know that this is a somber moment at this point in time. We are just waiting for the crime scene to be combed out completely. There's still two that are trapped, a driver of the truck as well as one of the passenger of the Kumbi. 11 bodies has already been taken out of the wreckage, and they will be taking them to the morgue in Polokwane. That's the short briefing that we're giving to the family, and they were fine and appreciating that. Taking tomorrow that we are voting, people must at least go voting knowing what is their fate in terms of this particular accident.
You say that they can go to the morgue in Polokwane where they'll be able to identify their loved ones. It appears as though all of them are still in a condition, at least, of being identified. They're identifiable.
Absolutely. I've seen the bodies. The majority, their legs, it's what was more problematic. Some, their legs are cut off. But let me say, in terms of body-wise, the face, you can still identify them. Yes.
One can't help but think about the time, as you rightfully mentioned, the time of voting. And one wonders if there's been any confirmation around one of them perhaps being, IEC officials. I know this is a bit of a stretch, but is there a possibility that amongst the people that have died here, some of them could be IEC officials, given the fact as well that, as the Transport MEC has said, a lot of them, in fact, a majority of them who were in that taxi are school teachers?
What you'll need to understand, Linda, is that this is a staff transport that commute a number of officials that go to other places out of the Polokwane precinct. So what we're getting, yes, we could see that there was one official from ESCOM, but we did not pick up any official from IEC. Basically, majority, they are teachers, and we learned that two of them, they are from one family. That's basically that I can say.
All right. Thank you very much. This is the Provincial Commissioner of the SAPS in the province, Michelle. They've just delivered those heart-wrenching news to family members who have been standing on the side of the road hoping for some positive news. But just a moment ago, while I was talking to you and linking to the Provincial Commissioner, it seems, they'd just broken down those news, and really As you can see, the picture tells a tale of, broken family members as they waited, really, hoping to hear something. But it seems none of the people who were involved in this accident survived. It's so quick that, as you heard there, the provincial commissioner saying that they, from here, can be able to start making their way to the mortuary in Polokwane, where those bodies will be identified. She tells us that many of the bodies are still in an identifiable state, which means that the process really is going to be quite smooth, looking at, of course, the process of identifying bodies. Forensic pathologists still have their hands full. Members of the SAPS will be combing the scene, of course, for clues in terms of what could have possibly happened. It also involves the work of the forensic pathologists, Michelle, who have to kind of get a sense of what the scene looks like in order, of course, to give a full detailed report once those postmortems are done and the cause of death has been determined. At the moment, there's still all those bodies lying down. The provincial commissioner telling us that, in fact, about 11 bodies were retrieved. The truck driver is still stuck in the truck with another passenger of that minibus taxi, still amongst those who are stuck in that particular scene. She gives us gory details about the condition of the bodies, saying that while a lot of them are still identifiable, some have even lost, limbs, saying that although that is the case, the family members rather will be able to identify them. She also says that investigations obviously will continue from this point onwards, but it is indeed now in the hands of the families of the deceased to now go to the morgue in Polokwane, where they will start identifying. I see some on the side there, just on the side of the road. There's some packs that have been put there, and one can only assume that it's perhaps the belongings of the people that were in that particular taxi. She does say that majority of the people in that taxi were teachers, and that one of them is an ESCOM official. Nothing points to the fact that any of them could have been IEC officials, Michelle, which she says at this point is all that they know. From here onwards, the clues about what could have happened will come from this investigation. The circumstances involving this car crash at this point, and at least from the details that we heard from the transport MEC in the province, is that weather conditions could have contributed to this car crash. She says the truck driver, according to preliminary reports, lost control because it was quite misty in the morning. A lot of the area, including Polokwane, was quite misty this morning. And she says that according to preliminary findings and preliminary investigations, it seems the weather conditions could have contributed to this car crash. It happened a couple of hours ago, and as you can imagine, the work that goes into retrieving those bodies. And at this point, as I'm speaking to you right now, the provincial commissioner telling us that 2 more bodies still need to be retrieved from that particular accident, Michelle. But at the back of us are families who have now started mourning as a result of losing their loved ones in this tragic accident.
Linda Mnisi, thanks very much indeed for that update. Live to us there from the scene of that crash between a minibus and a truck in Polokwane on Dendron Road. It's in fact just outside Polokwane. And certainly our hearts go out to the families involved.